All right, so with everything being said about the where to find your software and access it real quick. Now most people aren't going to have just about everything that I have, but you will at least have Studio 5000. So what is Studio 5000? When you first open it, it's going to ask you like a couple of different things. You can create a new project, you can import a project, you can look at sample projects, you can open existing, again, sample projects and upload. I've never really used the help and explore, to be honest with you. But when it comes down to it, you can use sample projects if you want to get ideas, look at stuff and reference them. Sometimes if you're starting out from the very beginning though, you don't know some of the things you're trying to look at, so it's maybe a little bit daunting. So I would suggest it's just start a new project. Now what this does is it gives you the variability to start wherever you want. Like if you have a compact Logix, if you have a safety guard Logix, if you have a control Logix platform, it's L7. This would be L7s. This is L8s. Okay, so this is everything for L7s and L8s. Guard Logix, again, when it comes to the bigger platforms, the L7s, the L8s. So this is just picking basically your controller that would be used, right? Now, in our focus, we're going to be using the emulate software. So just because of the simple fact of we don't really want to start talking about and getting into processors, because everybody's going to have a different type of processor. But when it comes to the emulate software, what I want you to understand is it is just a virtual backplane. This is a virtual processor. So we're just going to create a program, and we'll just call this beginner training, and we'll call this 2005. Now, what I want you to understand too, when you're making your names, like if right here I put a space, it's going to automatically put an underscore, because Rockwell will not allow just a regular space. Like a computer-based system, you're going to have to do an underscore to make it realistically all one word, like a URL. If you look into any web-based type scenario, it's going to look like all one word, because it's not going to have spaces in there, right? You're going to have basically an underscore or some type of symbol to move forward, right? So in that case, I just want to show how that's done. So if you hit next, you create it, you pick your processor type or version. In my case, I have version 21 through 35 on this very VM, this virtual machine that I am running. That means it's a virtual machine on top of my host, which is a completely different talk. But you may not have every single version. You may only have one version. Well, if that case, you're stuck with using that one version. In this case, I'll use 35, or let's just use 33 for an example. And then we'll come in here and you can pick your chassis size. In the case of what we're doing, in the virtual atmosphere, you can change your chassis size. In the real world, you have to have a physical chassis that matches the virtual or the chassis that you have that you're building. So realistically, if you have a 4-slot chassis in the real world, you have to choose 4-slot. And if you have a 7-slot, you have to choose 7-slot. Same thing coincides with a 10 or whatever the case may be. In this focus, what I will show you is I'm going to come in here and put it in slot 3. I'm going to put my processor in slot 3. The processor slot that you're going to use depends on where your actual processor is inside of that physical chassis. The physical chassis, again, is just a backplane. You're going to put the processor in there, or sometimes it's compact Logix, which defaults to basically a slot 0 or slot 1. And then you just click finish. And when you click finish, it does start. And when it starts, that's when you're building the program. Now the program is actually building right now, but I will show you a little bit what I'm talking about here. I'll open this back up. I'll open up RS Links. There's the RS Links Classic. I'm going to open up RS Links Classic before I open up any kind of emulator software. So in this case, I'm going to choose my emulator. I just want to show you this because of the simple fact of the backplane thing that I just got through bringing up. So really right quick, you can easily see I'm in slot 3. Okay. So we have built our program. There's nothing in the program. There's no tags in the program. There's 0 things inside of the program right now. We're starting from scratch, right? and we can see our emulator slots, our chassis, right? We can see I could not use 0, I couldn't use 1, I can use 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I'm on a 16 slot chassis. So I need to change my program right here, go in here and change my chassis size to a in this case a 17 slot, because 0 counts. So we'll change that real quick, and that in itself is how to build your very first program and understand from the bare bones where you're going to go to start and understand what version you're using, how to use it, understand the backplane, and understand what slot you're going to be in, stuff of that nature, right? But again, that all kind of changes depending upon if you're using a compact Logix. I'm in emulator, and what you're going to be doing, or what we're going to be seeing in the emulator, is we're going to be seeing it going to be like a control Logix platform, not a compact Logix, but a control Logix platform, which is the bigger one. Okay, with that said, hopefully you learned a lot from this video. We'll see you guys on the next one.